I'm excited to be sharing these success courses with you because they are a summation of 20 years of experimentation and research that I've engaged in over the years as a small business owner myself. And I know the ideas in these books have saved and made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I also know that from reading and talking with reading other books and talking with other professionals, that it just takes one or two ideas in any given book or in any given area to make often tens of thousands of dollars over time. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of give you a summary of what's in each of these books. Perhaps the most valuable book here is Using the Internet to Make and Grow Your Business, because it actually has some overlap with a few of the other books, and so it's priced a little higher because of that. I also want to talk a little bit about a concern I have that these books will be seen as overpriced. First of all, in the member price here, you can see that for those that are contributing members to the site, you get a 25% discount. But the bigger issue is just be aware that these success courses are written by an experienced landscape professional for landscapers. So it's a very narrow market, and it's not, these are never going to be bestsellers, and nor would it be appropriate to market them to homeowners, because there's a total focus on sharing the most useful information as a professional for professionals in each area. I also want to mention the efficiency factor, because while I haven't put a lot of focus on, quote, looking professional and polished, I mean, these are, just average book covers and stuff like that. That's not really the point or the value. I put pretty little effort on creating a, quote, professional product for you, and I've put a lot of focus on putting the best ideas down that are going to save you a lot of money based on my experience. Like in Using the Internet to Make, Save, and Grow Your Business. So there's about 30 different ideas in this book that I've spent about 100 hours of time learning about. Then I've experimented in my business with trial and error, what's working and what isn't. And then I've put the best of those ideas, having spent, just to give you an example, I've spent over $100 buying 10 different books on internet search optimization. I've developed reports on how to, my own reports on how to easily see how well we're doing in Google, etc. And these are, when we talk about SEO, I'm sharing the best ideas from all those different books that have benefited my company. So you can certainly go out and spend the money yourself and spend a lot of time and do your own experimentation. But the value is coming from my synthesizing stuff. So you'll find that I guess the presentation may be a little bit crude, just like this video is. I'm not going to spend $1,000 to get a professional film crew in. My focus is on providing extraordinary value by summarizing lots of useful information. So you've got at least $1,000 of course material and stuff and learning that I've done over the years, and then the nuts and bolts of what's actually worked. So that's the gist. More clients than you can handle. Again, having come through the recession, I was really excited to come up with some ideas that allowed my business to actually grow during the recession after initially taking a 60% dive until I realized, hey, I've got to respond to this. Um, and so this is sharing a lot of those ideas. And for example, one of my experiments in print advertising cost me $5,000. And it's not the experiment that I'm going to recommend to you in many of the ideas, but it would have been awfully nice for me to not have to experiment with my own cash, but learn from what had worked for another landscaper. This idea, or this book here, was sparked when I got selected for a random audit by the IRS, and I was just starting out on, with the goal of creating Successful Landscapers, a great site, and I thought, okay, it's been 20 years. For 20 years, I've been mildly worried about what would happen in the event of an audit. Having talked with different CPAs and not being entirely sure what I could and couldn't write off, it was a source of mild background anxiety. But I never met another landscaper that got audited, so I didn't really know what to expect. So when this audit came up, I thought, I am going to document this and use everything I learn about this to help other landscapers prepare for, and also know what's a waste of time, because one of the things that I've learned is that my bookkeeping approach, which has cut my time down by about 90% and cut my cost down by 90% as well, and some of my write-offs have really worked out well and come through the audit in flying colors. And I'm 100% certain that there's going to be at least one idea that may save you $500, may save you $1,000, may save you $10,000 a year. But the nice thing with taxes is they're a big chunk of money. They happen every year. So even if you read this book and you just save $500 on taxes, so big deal. Maybe it took you 5 hours to read the book, and your time is worth money. But that's every year. So in 10 years, that saved you five grand, and then this $48 becomes an incredibly useful thing. And I've read, over 1,000 pages of different course materials and tapes to get to the point where I could make this course down to, I think, 30 or 40 pages. That's the beauty of it. You can get through that. It's worth applying, and it'll set you up very nicely in the event you ever get an audit, and it'll help you come up with some legitimate legal write-offs you probably aren't thinking of. Succeeding with difficult clients. I personally put a huge value on having good rapport with clients, but I'm not the only part in that. There's the personality fit, there's my work style, and then there's the clients themselves. And you may or may not have noticed this, but about 20% of the clients you're probably going to come into contact with are dysfunctional in varying degrees. They're setting you up to fail. You may or may not, be aware of it, but I've really analyzed over the years what's going to make a job go well, be done on time, on budget, etc. And I can do my part on that. But some clients are not going to cooperate. And so the trick is to recognize that early on. And then there's some very specific things that you can do, including charging more money for difficult clients. I wrote this book after a particularly wealthy client wanted to hire me, and I knew they were trouble from the first 10 minutes in their door, watching them argue with one another. And I figured that they were not going to mind spending a lot of money, and I wanted to charge them a lot of money just to deal with their hassle. So this kind of is a nice course that'll help you avoid a lot of client problems, help you avoid being the scapegoat, in different marital conflicts. And to summarize this job, the clients were a little bit crazy, but I still managed to get the job done early, on budget, and I charged them an extra $30,000 just for the hassle factor. And so it's just good to know different tacks you can take with difficult clients. So that's what this book is about. And this is actually one of my I guess bigger successes. This is the idea, the key idea I used to grow my business during the recession, and that was to publish a local landscape book, which you can see right here. You can notice this title is a lot, book cover is a lot nicer than some of my other covers. This is a book that makes me $100,000 a year and is for homeowners. All of these are just for you and me and landscape professionals. It may or may not make me as much money as the time it's take to write these courses. So I focus more on the information. But this book here, while it cost me only $100 to write and publish it, it's 3 years old now, and every year this book brings me at least $100,000 of work from clients that understand my style and the way that I work, and that is incredible. It doesn't cost me a dime. People buy this book for $20 on Amazon or from me. Sometimes I'll give some copies away, but what I've done in this course here is told you exactly how you can do the same, and it's one of the biggest long-term investments you can make, because while it took me 3 months to write this book, it doesn't take any time from here on out. It was a one-time 3-month investment during a slow period in the middle of the recession, and it completely turned my business around. So I want to encourage those of you with an interest in writing to write a book of your own that's local, and you can always read this book and kind of copy any style elements, that just because this is has a proven track record of bringing me in an extra $100,000 in landscape work. But I also talk about some ideas and services that I can offer you to license the text of my book and just adapt it to your locale, so you don't have to write a whole book. You can put your name on it as the author, and successfully landscaping your whatever your town is, and you will be the only person with a locally oriented book, and you just do a custom cover with your own landscape pictures. So that's something I'm pretty excited about, because I'm not aware of anything else like that on the market. I certainly have never heard of any of these courses and stuff being offered. And so, if you're not a writer and want to publish a book and get that benefit, don't worry. There's a couple of licensing options. This is actually probably not really for you. You're a business owner, but when I first started the company 22 years ago, I started it with a little bike. I was 17 years old, and I grew strongly with the help of my peers in mentor relationships. I would pay landscape mentors hundreds or thousands of dollars over time to give me the education on my job sites that would help me benefit from the best techniques in the field. And that's partly the inspiration that inspired me to start this site, is while I've gone out and found mentors that have been terrific over the course of my career, no landscaper has ever contacted me offering to mentor me and share their ideas. And certainly I haven't run across a great website sharing tips for landscapers. And so this basically shows how I started my business for $50, and it's been generating a positive cash flow ever since. So this is just a little startup book, and I've stuck it here because maybe you know a friend who thinks they have to have a big $10,000 loan, and or they need to go out and get a job, etc. And this is just how anyone can start a useful landscape service business with about 2 weeks of time and $50. So that's just kind of more for your friends. And this is a book on how to structure a landscape company to benefit your romantic relationships. Again, cheesy book cover. I'm not focused on that. But the ideas are terrific, and I've used these ideas to create a lot of free time for myself and for my relationships. And I think that's one of the great opportunities we have in working for ourselves. I want to add that the definition of successfullandscaper.com is not being miserable, having millions, and a giant company. It's absolutely about quality of life. And so that's the real joy for me in being a small business owner. And I've deliberately kept my business small because I've noticed how much free time I take 6 to 8 months of the year off to pursue various hobbies and passions, including writing these courses and stuff. I enjoy writing. And so, it's about quality of life, not just having a lot of money and being stressed out. Finally, getting out of a funk. There have been probably 3 times during the 22 years where I've not been enjoying my work for some reason. Strangely enough, when I first started making a lot of money and just had a lot of money in the bank and a lot of free time, it was a bit stressful because I'd been working my whole life and I didn't know what to do with all that freedom. I just didn't have the mental architecture and preparation for just having a good time, and so I had to go through some adjustment periods. And so this just shares some of my stories, some of the strategies that have worked for me, and the primary usefulness of all of this is I'm a small business landscape designer and installer like yourself, and so it's a little bit more personal, and my examples are things you'll probably be able to relate to. So if you ever get in a funk and it kind of feels shitty, $29 is very little to pay, and a lot cheaper than therapy, etc., to break out of that cycle. So these are just some fun strategies that work. So that's the gist of these courses. And so if you buy them all, and become a pro member, etc., you might spend less than $1,000, but the information contained is stuff that I've probably spent $100,000 to $300,000 in time and money learning and synthesizing. While I've no doubt that you've got plenty of stuff you could teach me, and if you write a course, I'd love to buy it. We all have slightly different experiences. We all have different ideas, and it doesn't matter if you discard 30 to 80% of what I write. If there's just 10% in there that starts making you an extra 10 grand or giving you some extra free time, I think that's the exciting thing. You're in a position to capitalize on these ideas. If for any reason you find a course that doesn't deliver any value whatsoever, that's what the 1-year unconditional refund is for. Mostly I'm putting that in there as I'm pretty confident you'll be able to take at least a few of these ideas and start benefiting your business. But I'm happy to take the risk, and since I'm the one that knows what's in the courses and how it's benefited my business. So do buy the courses, check them out. take any actionable idea. And when you start to succeed in some way, please write and share your success with me. I really love that. And there's a little reminder in each book to write in and share your story with me. We tend to be pretty isolated as professionals because of the mindset of, usually if I meet a landscaper from my town, he's one of my competitors. But you're not. We're not competing for the same job. We're in the same industry. Makes sense as company owners to collaborate together. So thanks for watching. Thanks for buying the courses. And I look forward to learning about your success.